We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast. I am your forever host, Stephen Willis, and I'm glad you are joining me on this magical mystery tour into Ole Miss fandom. And just a great day. It's a nice day down in the palatial Central Florida studios. I'm having a good time. And, you know, we have Mississippi State coming up this weekend. We have a new show debuting today at 1 o'clock. Stay tuned for that. And we have a little bit of press conference highlights yesterday. And we're going to dig a little bit into who exactly Mark Robinson is and why he's been able to make an ascension on the depth chart. We're gonna get to that in the second segment today. But first, I do want to let you know about the Vault Society. What's the Vault Society? It's a way you give to Ole Miss. It's kind of a top tier giving thing. It's a status thing. It makes you look like a pretty big deal. And right now, all gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th will receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible, and they go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and go towards non-home ticketed games. That'd be postseason, bowl games, neutral site, etc. The big push is for the Vault Society, as we said, and that's a 5-year commitment. Entry level is starts at $5,000 a year. And there's a benefit chart on the site. Where's the chart? It is www.givetoathletics.com. Again, that is www.givetoathletics.com. That is the Vault Society. I am Stephen Willis, and you know we're having a good time today. I'm the host of this vehicle. And we have a lot of good stuff ahead. But first, if you want to watch the show, you can follow us on Twitter at @TheStephenWillis or at @TheRebelWalk. You can catch us at Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. You can catch us on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell for notifications because, you know, we like to have notifications. And you'll always know what and when we're streaming. We also are on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. We have a couple of catch-alls that does Ole Miss videos and non-Ole Miss videos at Willis Digital Media on YouTube and Willis Digital Media, all one word, on Twitch. You can hit those up and kind of follow what's going on with that. And we are on audio as well, if podcasts are more your speed. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on the pod now, I know it's been a little bit tricky, and we're building up the podcast as well as building up this. But thank you very much for listening. We're on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. We're also on several minor podcatchers. But we can't list them all because we'd be here all day. So thank you very much for watching and listening today. So Ole Miss, Mississippi State tonight. Christian McLeod pitching for Mississippi State. Gunnar Hoagland for Ole Miss. The big weekend is in effect. I mean, on the secondary market, tickets are going for $400 a piece. That's ridiculous and something you don't really see for college baseball, but it's happening right now. Of course, a lot of it is due to pent up demand and the fact that the series was missed last year. So we are doing a preview weekend of the weekend series at 1 o'clock. We got Chad Smith on board. He's talking all about it. He breaks down the pitching, what type of pitches they throw, what we need to do for the batting order, all that stuff. It's pretty cool. And I just want to give you a little bit of a preview of something you will see for the baseball preview show. Chad Smith, we're going to talk a little bit about the Ole Miss game. Hey, Chad, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
I'm looking forward to college baseball returning to one of its grandest stages. This matchup between Ole Miss and Mississippi State is going to be nothing short of epic. It is probably what will be by the end of the season, and has already been, the highest attended university, is the highest attended games when it comes to Ole Miss and Mississippi State both. Both of them have passionate fan bases, and we're ready to see this battle. It's going to be exciting.
Yes, as you know, a rotation changed this weekend. The rotation, you have Gunnar Hoagland on Friday, Doug Nikhazy on Saturday, and coming in Drew McDaniel on Sunday, replacing Derek Diamond. What's the mindset there, and what may be the benefit of doing this?
Absolutely. So I think what Coach Bianco's trying to do with Drew is basically sending a message to his bullpen and his pitchers to step up. What I mean by that is we've had some heavy hits in the bullpen to injuries. Also, COVID restrictions have played a part. So Drew needs to get in there and take the reins from an Ole Miss starting position that has been kind of shaky over the past 2 or 3 weeks with Derek Diamond. So Drew is actually going to get his opportunity, and he's earned it. He's 4-0 with a 2.9 ERA, and unfortunately, he's got to start in one of the most hostile environments known to.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. Him starting in Dudy Noble. We are going to have the full show. It's about 15 minutes long. It's going to drop at 1 o'clock today. And it's really great stuff. Everything from pitchers, we're going through the whole weekend. We're going to look at the batting order and things like that going into this weekend. So it should be a really good thing. So I'm not going to get too much into the weeds because Chad's already dropped all that knowledge on me. We recorded that this morning, full disclosure. And it will go live at about 1 o'clock today, Central Time. So tune in for that. We're also going to put it on the podcast channel. You can listen to it on the way to Dudy Noble if you want to. Either way, it's going to be pretty great. It's one of the better things that we have done at Positively Ole Miss. That and the instant reaction shows have been fantastic. And I'm just very excited for them, and I'm excited for you to hear the whole thing and just ingest all the information, because not a lot is being done like this right now throughout the fan base, and this just will provide an avenue for you to get a little bit more informed and not so much surprised come this weekend. So Ole Miss versus State at Dudy Noble Field tonight. SEC Network. I think each of the games either on SEC Network or SEC Plus, so you'll be able to watch all three. if you don't want to deal with traffic or anything around, that'll be available for you as well. But the secondary market, it's weird for college baseball. And it's also funny that, you knew they were going to do it, but they did the Super Bulldog weekend on the same weekend as an Ole Miss series to gin up the fan base. So enjoy it. It looks like it's going to be a fun weekend in Starkville. I'm looking forward to Gunnar Hoagland versus Christian McLeod tonight, and Saturday's a Doug Day, and Sunday, what will Drew McDaniel do as the Sunday starter? Now, he came out there and he backfilled for Doug and pitched a couple of Saturdays this season and was relatively impressive. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. And what are we going to do with our bats? Kel Baker went 4 for 4 over the midweek. Will that translate and move forward there? Is Trey LaFleur going to get more pitches during a weekend series? What does that mean, with the left-right situation, the John Rice, Hayden Leatherwood situation? We cover all of that on the preview show, so tune in for that. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to hit on football. We're going to do the press conference highlights. We're going to talk about why the ascension of Mark Robinson could happen. And it's not anybody's fault. It's all coming down to system. So stick around, and we will be right back.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, welcome back. Segment 2 of the POMcast of this magical mystery tour of the thing we call fandom. I do want to thank you all for joining us. We're having a good time here today and just basically talking about Ole Miss sports. And speaking of talking about Ole Miss sports, head on over to therebelwalk.com. Evelyn and the crew do a great job. They provide a subscriber level experience for no money. It doesn't cost you anything. All it costs you is a little bit of time. So head on over there to therebelwalk.com and you can play catch up on all the sports and see all the content they're doing. They're doing a lot of good stuff over there, and it makes me pretty excited that they come through and their experts do our shows, and it's pretty nice. So that is therebelwalk.com. Anyway, as we are closing down, and we're at the point of closing down spring practice, they had a media availability yesterday. There's, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so about 4 practices left. The last one being the Grove Bowl. So that's interesting to see. And one of the things we look at, Braylon Sanders talking about coming back because he wanted to have a healthy season. Mark Robinson giving a little bit of backstory of his rise. And Cedric Johnson talking about filling out and being a more of a productive member of that defense. Let's do spring practice, and when we come back, we're going to talk about basically the rise of Mark Robinson and what that means.
It was an easy decision. Since I've been here, I've been dealing with injuries. So I just feel like having a full year, injury-free year, I can do big things. So it was an easy decision. Since I've been here, I've been dealing with injuries. So I just feel like having a full year, injury-free year, I can do big things. So that's played a big part in the decision.
Uh, well, actually, when I was at SEMO, just hearing about the coronavirus and we weren't working out. They was talking about not having the season, and I just working out with OT. That's like one of my best friends. We were always together back at home, and he was like, "Man, you should give it a try and come play at Ole Miss." And I was like, I don't know about that, man. I'm on the full scholarship. We just need to make sure we having the season. And then after, consideration with my family, I just felt like it was a good jump, the best opportunity for me.
Well, to start, I've been trying to gain weight. Like I gained 10 pounds recently. I'm sitting at 250 now, just trying to keep my speed and get better with my pass rushing, get even better at pass rushing, and just play better at run pass so I can play a critical role in the defense.
Just hard work, being attention to details, just bringing all the younger guys along. So me, Drum, Mingo, we the older guys in the room now. So we just taking those guys under our wing and just being the best we can be each and every day.
Well, my initial reaction was like you guys must be, crazy or something. But just talking to Coach Smith, and they kept asking me, and I kept turning it down. But then one day he called me and just explained to me with my skill set or whatever, the opportunity that'll be presented for me on the defense side of the ball in order to, really have a future rather than us having like 6 running backs in one room, ain't nothing but one football. So
It felt great. It was a great experience, obviously. But I think it gave us a lot of confidence. It gave me a lot of confidence in myself and just moving forward into the next year on how we plan on being or just setting our standard for next year.
Spring always valuable, and for me, it's all about getting healthy right now and being ready for the fall. But for the younger guys coming in, spring is a big part of their building, so it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, being recruited from high school, I transferred to Lee County my my junior summer year going into my senior season, and it was just late in the recruiting game. I had played both sides at my other high school, so when I got to Lee County, they just stuck me on offense, so I just rolled with it. Had a good season, but I didn't really pick up too many offers. I had one offer, and I took it.
Lee 90, I gotta say Springer. He coming with that energy, 20 every play. He coming downhill fast to hit you.
All right, there you go with the press conference highlights today. One thing that stood out was the fact that you get a little bit of Mark Robinson's story and why he ended up at SEMO. He was a transfer into Lee County. He went to the same high school as Otis Reese. And the only one that offered was, I think, at the 1AA level, and he transferred over there, and they had problems with the coronavirus. They thought his season was going to go away, and he transferred out to where his friend is, Otis Reese. And now, why is the ascension happening? Why is he moving up the depth chart? Obviously because he's a good player, but because he came in and was pigeonholed as a running back early on. It seems like it was just an accident to see that he was making plays on special teams and convincing him to move to the defensive side of the ball. Now that he has done it, it seems like he is really picking it up well. But the reason why is all system based. I've been telling you this for a year. It's all system based. We had a bunch of guys that were recruited and signed to run a 3-4 defense. They were designed to be those 255-pound middle linebackers that are only responsible to go from the A gap to the B gap. Now that you're being asked sometimes to patrol sideline to sideline, it creates problems. Not necessarily anything wrong with them. They're just being asked to do something that they weren't being asked to do something before. And I know the question is like, why would you ask them to do something they can't do? Well, your defensive system is your system. Anytime you make a change, that system is going to change out as well. And on the defensive side of the ball, when Lane Kiffin and Chris Durkin got here, DJ Durkin, not Chris Durkin, that's a soccer player. You had some Wesley McGriff scheme guys like Keydron Smith, and those guys were designed to play the Wesley McGriff defense. Then you had the Mike McIntyre guys, and those were designed to, those were the Lakia Henrys, the Momo Sinogos, the can't remember the name of the safety, but you know what I mean. Played strong safety last year, Jonathan Haynes. The corners fit, and they were recruited to fit a certain type of defense. There's a certain height-weight ratio that needs to go in that you're looking for at the beginning to play your position. Every player is not the same. It's a whole bunch of different pieces. It's a whole bunch of moving parts designed to work in tandem as a unit. So if you have problems that in the defense, they're going to show up. You can't have levels of defense where it struggles. At the end of the year, Jacquez Jones really came on. They signed Chance Campbell, and now this Mark Robinson has burst on the scene. What that tells me is he is doing a better job at doing the sideline to stuff, and he has the athleticism necessary to play the position as it's defined. Because in this defense, there's really only two linebackers. So if you put out a Momo Sanogo and a Lakeem Henry, while in a 3-4 defense, they would be excellent linebackers. In a 4-3 defense, it'd be a little bit different. The athleticism is more of an ask. There's required to do more things. And Ole Miss running a combination of a 4-2-5 and a 3-3-5, depending on what they do with the buck, means that most of the principles for those two linebackers are going to be 4-3, because Ole Miss is running 4-3 stuff, but that star is out there playing an outside linebacker. They're running 3-4 stuff, and that star is out there playing an outside linebacker. That's the first thing that people need to understand. If they hear 4-2-5 or 3-3-5, they're like, what's going on? No, it's so that the principles of the 4-3 defense and the 3-4 defense can all go into this system. Plus, you have the coverage for the RPO by having another defensive back on the field. So that's why. It's why Jacob Springer is going to be such a huge part, as you heard during the press conference. It's why Otis Reese is going to have such a huge part. You can line up on the outside and come in, and you've got the double team coming in with Sam Williams. I mean, it's really, really spectacularly devised on the defensive side of the ball, but we have to get there. We have to see it. And we're just plugging holes, and everybody's worried about defense, which, honestly, that's fine. The defensive line, they're working on replacing players. And like I said, the one I'm really excited for on the defensive side of the ball is Tysheem Johnson. Just period. Out of all of the defensive side of the ball, I mean, Jacob Springer, Otis Reese, all those are great. I want to see Tysheem Johnson. He has the potential to have Honey Badger traits. Super athlete. He just has to have the want to and the willpower and go about it the right way. And that is how he is going to handle business when it comes to this defense. Now, the Grove Bowl is next Saturday. And you can go through and, it'll be on TV. You'll be able to see it on SEC Network. I'll be able to lay eyes on the team for the first time. Remember the offense? They're missing skill players by design. And that affects things. But the defense looked really good last year leading up to it. But I think with more pieces in the front, more pieces in the back, we just need to work on getting that middle solidified a little bit. And I think Chance Campbell and Mark Robinson will go a long way to do that. If you're asking Momo, Lakia, and those guys to do 30 to 40 snaps a game as opposed to 80, it's a win. It really is. Because in this day of tempo and everything's going, you need a two deep to begin with, and you need to cut depth away from who you're competing with. Also, starting June 1st, they are killing the recruiting dead period. Things can get back to normal on the recruiting front. Now, Florida, for instance, is they have official visits every weekend of June. Ole Miss is going at it a little differently. They want the full Grove, the full campus experience to be a part of the recruitment, and that is actually very smart. And you will see Ole Miss kind of backfill. Now, if a player can only get here on June 20th, the player is going to come June 20th. That the player is going to win out whenever this is going on. But ideally, they want to use home games to build atmosphere, and now you can see the weaponization of these guys on the recruiting trail will finally begin to take off when they can talk to recruits, get them to campus, evaluate them in campus, and let them see what's going on, and then in tandem recruit them as well as Ole Miss recruit them at the same time. This is what we've been waiting on recruiting-wise, because this has not been an ideal situation for Lane Kiffin. This has not been an ideal situation for Chris Partridge. You tell people all the time how great Ole Miss is, but we can't show you. Now, players like Tywan Malone, he got to visit. He got to visit for baseball. Ole Miss was able to land him. So this is going to be a very dominant thing going forward. The recruiting aspect of this, they can finally do what they were paid to do, what they were brought in to do, and it will be interesting to see what they do during the week. Whenever we can do a recruiting show, we'll have one up soon enough with Leanne Herring talking about Rebel Walk recruiting, and just like we're going to expand this as much as we can. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes back. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State tonight, 6 o'clock, SEC Network. Tune in. It should be a fun atmosphere. Gunnar Hoagland on the mound for Ole Miss. Christian McLeod for Mississippi State. That preview series show is coming up at 1 o'clock today. Tune in to that. It was a great show. Had a really good time talking to Chad today. It's about 15 minutes long. Not too much of a time commitment. And I'm just really excited. But I'm going to give you a couple minutes back, and I want everybody to be careful, be safe, have fun. If whatever you're in is not causing joy in your life, find something else to do. But I'm Stephen Willis. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
It was an easy decision. Since I've been here, I've been dealing with injuries. So I just feel like having a full